Hey, on this episode of Samp&Chance Boxing, we are going to go back to Japan, take a quick peek at the fights that happened there this past weekend. Then we're moving over to Verona, New York, where we have Lopez versus Zayd for the IBF title coming down there, top ranked card. Also taking center stage this weekend, we have Amanda Serrano and Jake Paul as the co-main event from Puerto Rico. Canelo leaving PBC only after one fight. All this and so much more on this episode of Samp&Chance Boxing. So strap in and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance Boxing. Happy Thursday, Friday Eve, everybody. How you all doing? I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Mr. Chance, Michael's Chance. Happy Friday Eve, my friend. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. The weekend is here, man. It's almost here, which means we're getting geared up for another weekend of fights and things of that nature. Wow. I mean, it never stops, does it?
Every weekend is something. It's good.
Always something, man. And I guess this is where we have to thank our families for allowing us the time and the effort and the energy we need to kind of watch all these things so we can come back and talk about them. So shout out to the families, man.
Absolutely.
How was your week so far?
What's that?
How's your week been so far?
Pretty good. Yours?
Can't complain, man. It's just another day in paradise, man. Got to wake up and God has blessed us with these opportunities. So, make the most of them, right?
Absolutely. Well said.
There you go. All right. So that's enough of the chitter chatter. Let's get right into it. Let's go back to Japan. You got your passport. It's time to fly. We got the first fight wrong, man. Inui. Here, let me get this clock started here. Let's get right into it with little Inui and his fight. We all kind of thought that this was going to be the opportunity for him to win and beat Inui, but he never got the job done. In fact, he got knocked out in the 9th round. Did you see that coming?
No, I had Ankis winning, Filipino guy, but he had his good value, so that's why I took him. But I'm glad actually knew he won, the younger brother of the famous, but one and only. But he actually won one of his brother's old belts, which is kind of cool. So that stays in the family. But yeah, no, it was a good fight. I mean, the 9th round they were going at it, and as soon as Ankis started fighting fire for fire, that's when Inui hit him with a 4-punch combination right down to the liver, shut his whole body down. He went down. He couldn't get up. He couldn't feel anything. He said he felt numb. The liver shots hurt a lot. If they get him in the right spot, a lot more than the head shots. So it was a really good fight. And Ankis hold his own. He fought well and he won a few rounds. But I knew he was up on the scorecards. But it was an exciting fight. There's two little guys, but they brought the action. And I knew it was just better combinations, more skilled, hit harder. 4-punch combination, finished him the liver, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah. With Inui, like I said, I think Ankis felt that power of that right hand in the body in the first round, and that kind of set the stage for him. I think Ankis' first best round was probably the 4th round, in my opinion. I think that's where he got most of his work done. It's just ironic that he finished him with a body shot, considering we were all concerned about Inui's ribs going into the fight, and Ankis was known for his body work, right? So we thought that was going to be something, but he just couldn't get it off, man. You're totally right. Good one for Inui, unexpected. I mean, he has the power. He's not his brother, but he's there. So let's move on to the other one. Santiago against oh God, help me with his last name here, man. Nakatani.
Yeah,
Nakatani, sorry.
The tongue twister.
Yeah. So Nakatani Santiago, I mean, straight from the get-go, I mean, Nakatani was controlling this fight completely, finished him in the 6th round with a body shot again. In my opinion, I think that the referee should have stopped it after the first knockdown, just the way he was looking. I mean, when he was standing up, he didn't really look coherent. He let it go, and within a few seconds after that, he took him down again, and this time the referee stopped it. Nakatani, man, like that kid's 26-0.
He hits hard, man. I called it. I think I said 6 rounds and under here, and I got that one right. I mean, it was a lopsided fight. This was going to be the outcome. He's too skilled, too young, too strong, undefeated, and he finishes guys. And he's one of the more exciting fighters to watch because, when he fights, somebody's going down. It was a great card top to bottom. I was on a crappy time, 2, 3 in the morning on the West Coast. So a lot of people didn't get to see that. The problem is if you're in Canada, you don't have ESPN Plus on demand, so you can't go back and watch it. So if you missed it or didn't PVR it, you got to go to YouTube, or that's the only way you're gonna see the fights. But yeah, Nakatani's a scary guy. I love watching him fight. Pure action. One of my favorite fighters right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, I think this generation is a little spoiled with all the ability to go back and to watch things at any time that they want. And I mean, I love it. I think it's an
Yeah,
amazing
it's
thing
nice.
that we have. But brother, man, I mean, not to be old or anything, we come from a time, if you didn't see it, you didn't see it,
Exactly.
right? I mean, it was just one of those things where commercials were legit in place for you to go to the bathroom, grab your snack, and come back as fast as you can.
That's what's nice about boxing, mostly on streaming now with the Zone and Amazon. You miss it, you go back and watch whenever you want. It's in the archives.
Right, but I think that's lost on people. They don't understand how hard it was for the rest of us
Yeah,
back in the day, right?
exactly.
It's kind of funny. I go back now and watch fights that I missed from the '90s that I wish I could have saw now because
All
of,
on YouTube. Yeah.
right, so they're very lucky that way. All right, Japan wrapped up. Pretty straightforward. I liked it. Top Rank did a great job with the card, like you said. The crowd was live, really fun. You got
Main
to
event, co-main event, both finished in knockouts. You can't get better than
100%.
that.
And you got to get some of these Japanese guys out of Japan now if you want to build them up. And I know Bob is talking about taking Inui to Japan, but they got to come to America, man.
If you want to be a big star, you got to make a crossover. Ichiro had to do it in baseball. He was a big star in Japan. He wasn't a legend or icon until he came to America. Same thing with
Otani,
Inui and Oi.
Otani,
Yep. Tony, same thing. Yeah.
I guess anybody, I guess, really, right? All right, let's move on. We're going to Verona, New York, where we have Lopez versus Abe for the or for his featherweight title, his IBF featherweight title. This is going to be his third defense. Let's get into it, man. Your thoughts on this fight coming up?
That should be a good fight. It's at a small little resort in New York there, but at least it's on TV. Um, Lopez is going to win this fight. He's the champ. This is a third title fight. I think he's on a 12-fight win streak, although Gonzalez is on a 6-fight win streak. So both these guys are coming in hot. Gonzalez is the real deal. This is not going to be a walk in the park.
Abe,
I don't see either man. Was that
Abe,
Yeah.
Rihanna, Abe. He's not fighting Gonzalez. Oh, sorry. No,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Lopez versus Abe, man.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking I meant to say Abe. So he beat Gonzalez. That's what I meant to say Abe. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
Lopez versus Abe. Abe's on a 6-fight win streak. Lopez on a 12-fight win streak. Neither one of these guys is going to dominate each other. I think Lopez though will edge it out. I got him in a decision here, unanimous decision. But Abe he's the real deal, man. He's won 6-0. He's 25-3-1. Lopez is 29-2.
Yeah.
This is a good fight. It's a free fight, so hopefully people tune in to check it out. But I have Lopez winning a unanimous decision in a close fight.
Well, okay, so for me, I look at it this way. First off, Lopez is a home wrecker because he's the guy who goes into everyone else's country and beats them. He did that to Josh Warrington. He did that to Conlon earlier this year as well. We talked about in the last round how we need some of these fighters to leave their home country and come fight in America. Rene's doing that here. Rene Abe is from Japan. So if there's some of those things are going to go against him. First, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, this is his first fight out of Japan. So, he's stepping into a new environment, new weather, new food, everything. So it's going to be interesting to see there. What Lopez brings here is really interesting. The guy's unconventional, right? The angles that he works from, the way he throws his punch from those angles. And his balance is, extraordinary because he'll lunge at you and still land on his feet, hold his balance. He'll throw punches at you from different angles that you can't expect and you can't really work with. I think Abe's best possible thing is to frustrate him, which Warrington did a little bit with the inside fighting, the elbows and the headbutts and stuff. I'm not saying it's clean, but that's the only way to kind of get into it. That's all you can do against Lopez here. If you got to work on that counter punch and hope for a lucky punch, right? But that being said, that could also be a detriment for Lopez going into this fight, that if he gets caught flying in, because he's relentless that way. But you know what? I believe Abe can probably take this in 12 rounds. I think this is going to be a decision. I think it's going to play out that way. He's just going to frustrate him, and he's not going to get his counters off, and that's just going to make him kind of fight on the back foot a bit more. I'm talking about.
What's your final prediction for the fight?
12-round decision for Lopez.
Yeah, I got that too. Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. It should be action packed. It's a free fight, so everybody should check out if you're into boxing. Could be good. Some of these fights are less known guys end up being the better fights than the well known guys sometimes. So gotta tune in to find out.
That's the beauty of boxing. Like I said, I mean, the Japan card was amazing, and we had a couple other cards this year that just kind of stood up, but didn't have the name or the recognition. I mean, I think what we have to remember as well, Chance, and this is my opinion, boxing is a sport on a whole, right? Not
Yeah.
everyone is in the top tiers that we're all looking for.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest fights happen in the actual sport of boxing,
The only
right?
problem is with boxing, people only watch the top tier guys are fighting. That's the problem.
Well, you know what? I have some stuff on that. I'd like to talk about that a little bit later on. Just thinking about some of the things that are being happening here, and I think it'll fit in nicely when we get into the later rounds. All right, man. Why don't we talk about the card down in Puerto Rico? Amanda Serrano and Jake Paul are at it again this weekend. So Jake Paul's coming in as the co-main event, putting all the attention on Amanda Serrano, the homecoming. She's defending her titles against the German Nina Miniak. I hope I said that correct. Pretty
Manky.
Manky, sorry. Pretty straightforward
Manky.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty straightforward fight, man. I don't see her losing. I just think if anything, she's just gonna play it safe. I think she'll take it in decision and myself. Jake Paul, co-main event. I think he's doing it right. He's staying away from the YouTube fights. He's, they're building him up properly, the right pace. Granted, he's fighting a guy who's 10 years older than him, but he's a legit boxer, Ryan Borland. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight as he keeps moving up in this competition. And I think he's doing it the right way, man. If he wants to be a legitimate boxing guy, this is what he's got to do. He's got to take these fights, right? So I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for Jake, but I do see him coming out of it. He did say he has an injury going into it. I don't know what that means or where, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out on fight night. Your thoughts?
Well, this card is not even about who Jake Paul and Amanda Soriano are fighting. This is about what Jake Paul's doing for. First of all, he's giving her a co-main event. He doesn't need to do that.
No.
She sings nothing but praises for Jake Paul. A lot of the guys that badmouth Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they don't know left from right. These are great guys. He's got a nonprofit thing going on here. He pays the fighters more than she would ever make fighting on Top Rank or PBC. And to break down the fights quickly, yeah, he's fighting Ryan Borland. He's 17-2. He's a former Golden Gloves champion, so he's a legit fighter. Yeah. He's not a top tier guy. He's not even a top 30 guy. But it's just gaining Jake experience. He's legitimizing his resume. Amanda Soriano should have an easy night. I think she finishes her Meineke really fast. But this is more about what he's doing, fighting in Puerto Rico. It's a free fight on the zone. This is Jake Paul building his brand. Everybody that fights on his cards, undercard sings his praises. He brings a lot of eyeballs to the TV, and so they get paid better. And I'm glad Amanda Soriano's been pointing out what I've been saying about the guy and Logan. These are great guys. They're good businessmen. Wherever they go, they're successful. And I hope Jake Paul wins. It won't be an easy fight. I think he'll win a decision, but Borland, he could hold his own. He wants to make a name for himself because Borland's looking at it this way. But a lot of the snobs do. Oh, who is this YouTube guy to come into my world and dominate? Who is this YouTube guy for Logan Paul to come in and dominate? And they come in and they shine, and this is gonna be a fun fight. I hope it's very successful. I hope Jake and Amanda win, and I'm looking forward to this card.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say this, man. Going into all this stuff with Jake Paul and everything, I never thought I would be a guy to, kind of sing his praises. But I'll tell you what, man, straight up, there's a lot that this guy does. There's a lot, and I'm not talking about Logan. I think Jake's on a different level than Logan, in my opinion, personally. It just
in terms of what?
Pardon?
In what level? Like, what do you mean?
Just his support level, the way he works with other people, things that we don't hear about. Like the things we hear about are all the negative things, correct? All the things like, the tomfoolery and the nonsense stuff. But we don't hear about all the things he's done behind the scenes to help all these other people. And you don't hear about it until these people actually come out and say, yeah, he supported me. He helped me. He guided me, right? I mean, he plays the character because he has to. But behind that character, there's this whole different individual, which I think he's just at a little bit of a higher level, in my opinion, than Logan is in that sense.
Well, it's different. I mean, Logan's got one of the most successful drinks in the world. Logan employs a lot of people at Primark. They make the drinks, they brand, and Logan's got like he's up there with Gatorade and Powerade, sponsor of UFC,
I get it.
US
I get it.
champion. So they're both doing it differently, but they
Yeah,
both are very successful,
but I don't think
hardworking
anyone.
guys.
I don't think anyone has the right to shit on Jake Paul right now for the path and the way he's doing it. Because if you look at every other boxer trying to make his name, you look at their resumes, you look at their early fights, they were all against Ryan Borland or those kind of
Exactly.
fighters, right? So how can you shit on a guy? Pardon my language. I try to not cuss anymore. But how can you shit on a guy for doing it the right way now? Yeah, he started off with the gimmicky matches and this and that built his name, fair play. But now he's doing it legit right. So people,
Jealousy. Jealousy. They don't have that spot that they can't get the hype that Jake and Logan can get. They're not as good in the ring as Logan Paul. So all these guys on their mountain off are all jealous. They would take their spot in 2 seconds or they'd fight on Jake's card.
yeah.
We've
No,
had Angel Lozano on here who said, I
I
trained
just
at his house. Man, Jake hits hard. He's a
I,
legit guy, right?
I just want people to stop shitting on him and let him do his thing. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you, man. It's a lot, but so much jealousy. People are like, oh my God, you know, he's a tough guy. He's been there with Anderson Silva. He's been there with guys that are tough. You know, he's not Nate Diaz. These guys are some of the best fighters of all time in their realm, and they didn't knock him down.
Stir up. I get that completely, but now he's doing it right. Yeah, okay. The Angel fight was kind of a nonsense fight, in my opinion. That guy was not prepared. I hope Borland is more prepared for the lights. I hope Borland is better suited for this, right?
He's
So
17-2 as a pro, so yeah, he can hold his own.
so at the end of the day, Jake is doing it right, people. Like, stop
Yeah,
shitting on the guy. Like, okay, I can understand if he decided to fight Andrew McCaffrey or because all these guys are calling him out all the time. No, I want to fight you. I want to fight you, right? He's not taking those fights anymore. He's getting away from the misfit stuff. He's
Mhm.
doing it the right way. They're building him the right way. He's fighting the fights he has to fight to get to that next level. Because I mean, the reality of it is, if you were to go there against even a Ryan Garcia or anyone like that, he would lose instantly, right? So he's doing it the right way. He's still young. He
It's funny
hasn't.
though. These YouTube fights that he does generates more money than these goofballs fighting in the casinos in New York. That's a thing, right? And they're jealous of how can he fight Anderson Silva or Diaz and make more money than we're making because people tune in to watch them, guys, and they don't tune in to watch you. It's like the
Yeah,
same thing I think about wrestling. You want to be that big star, make it. If not, then don't complain when they do.
yeah, 100%.
That's like me sitting on here saying, you know what? I hate Joe Rogan. I hate Jordan Peterson because they're successful podcasters. No, good for them. I'm happy for them. They did something that very few can do, and they deserve what they get. Every percent they get, I'm all singing their praises.
No, brother, I never, and you and I are the same.
I'm not saying you. I'm just talking in general, like with the
No,
people. Right?
no. I mean, in general, I mean, I think one thing that life has kind of taught me personally is that don't shit on anybody. It's not worth it.
Mm,
Regardless, if they're good, bad, whatever, just let them be. Just focus on yourself, work on your own goals. And you know what? Guys like Jordan Peterson, guys like, all those kind of guys that are successful, I look at them to see how can we become successful.
exactly. You learn from them.
What can we learn from them opposed to shitting on them? While everyone's shitting on them, I'm looking at their content to see what can we do better on our side, right? So I mean, the people who shit on other people are the ones that never work hard, never want to put the time in, and are just angry that everyone else has a piece of the pie and they're just standing there with their hand held out,
Absolutely. Yeah, you 100% nailed it.
right? I mean, we've been at it now for 2 years. Do I wish we were bigger than we are? Yeah, absolutely. But I know it's the process, right?
Yeah,
And
but we've done pretty good overall, though.
no, we have. But what I'm saying is, in general, like, instead of shitting on people, let's look at other people's success and see what we can learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the bottom line. Now, speaking of success, Mr. Saul Canelo Alvarez is at it again. Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Canelo says that he's done with PBC after one fight. He's moved back over to the zone. I'm just going to break this down really quickly and then I'll let you chime in.
Yep.
He had the one fight there. They couldn't get the next two fights done, so he decided to leave, called it a breach of contract. So now he's gone back to Eddie Hearns, and now he's probably going to end up fighting the two guys that he said that he wasn't going to fight on PBC, which is just contradictory.
What,
Your
Munguia and
thoughts?
Berlanga?
Yeah. Your thoughts?
So many different angles to this. We don't know who's telling the truth, who's what. So we got Canelo's side is saying you don't have enough money to pay me who the guy, like, I want to fight Charlo, I'm going to fight this guy. That they're saying, they didn't say it, but they're insinuating that PBC and Al Heyman are broke. They got no money to pay me what he wants. Okay. And then when you got the other side where they're saying Benavidez guy is saying you're ducking, you're scared. But David Benavidez Sr. said Canelo offered us $5 million. We don't think it's enough. So how can you guys, Benavidez guys, call Canelo a duck? He's fought Floyd. He's fought Triple G. Canelo's not scared of nobody. Let's clear there right now. I'm not even the biggest fan of the guy, but I have to defend the guy now. He's not scared of nobody. He went there Triple G. He offered you $5 million, which is more than David's ever made in a fight. Now I get what they're saying. Canelo might make 30. David will make 5. Try to even it a bit. At the end of the day, David has never been a big pay-per-view star yet. I hate to say that. I love the guy, but that's the reality of it. He should have took that fight for $5 million, beat up Canelo like you say you're going to do. Then going forward, you are the new star of boxing. You'll be getting 20, 30 million a fight. The next guy will get you 4 or 5 million. So if this is all true, I don't blame Canelo then. If they don't have the money to pay him, he is a once in a generation star. Go over to Matchroom, go over to the zone where you came from. And if Eddie's got the money with the zone backing him, they can pay you. Fight Munguia, fight Berlanga. And that's going to be a great fight on May 4th. Now that might hurt Cody Crowley because he won't be on that card now. So now maybe Cody has a fight with Boots. That might hurt him. I'm not sure. But I don't blame Canelo. At the end of the day, this is all about money. And I think Benavidez guys got caught with their foot in their mouth. You can't call the guy a duck, and then all of a sudden say, oh, yeah, he offered us $5 million now.
Well, I mean,
so now Benavidez guys turned down the fight. So is he the duck or is Canelo the duck? What's it? They both turned down the fight. I don't get it.
I mean, it's all politics. It's all money.
It
Right?
is.
At the end of the day, and it kind of sucks. So, because I understand where the David team is coming. Again, I'm just playing, the other side here. Like, if you look at what Charlo made, he made close to 8 million off that fight, right? Against Canelo. I mean, if nothing else, I'm probably looking at it from that perspective. What did Canelo? What did Charlo make? What did Plant make against him? What did Ryder make against him, right? I mean, if you're going to balance it that way, I think that's what they were kind of looking at. Like, well, wait a minute, why are you only giving us 5 when you gave him 8 or you gave him 10, right?
True,
Like,
and I don't blame him. But at the end of the day, Benavidez turned down that fight. He could have been fighting Canelo May 4th, and he said no. The money's not right.
Right, but I think at the end of the day, I think he's probably worth that money more, that 8 or 10 than a 5 compared to.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't get. Maybe he should get 8. But at the end of the day, I don't want to hear Benavidez guys call Canelo the duck and the chicken. When you turn down the fight, you could have. They maybe wanted 3 more million. You probably could have worked it out. You could have said, "Yeah, we'll take it," but they could have wiggled it around. But at the end of the day, Benavidez said no.
But you know what? I think his dad
how's
said
Canelo the chicken?
I think his dad said no. I don't think it was David.
But David still runs. David runs the show. David could have said, "Hey, no, Dad, we'll do this fight. I'm going to humiliate Canelo." Because they've said before, we'd fight him for free. We'd fight. We know that's all this boistering, but they said no.
We never heard this once from David, right? So it's just dad that's spouting off, right? And kind of breaking these news.
Yeah, but David controls his dad. He could have said, "Hey, Dad, you know what? I want this fight. Let's make history."
Yeah, fair enough. I can appreciate that. Well, that explains
so
why
there's two sides of the story, but everybody's dissing on Canelo. I don't like how people are calling him a scaredy cat. He's not a scaredy cat. Look at the guys he's been in the ring with. He's not scared of David. Whether he'd win or lose is a different story. He's not scared of David Benavidez.
No, I'm not saying that he is. I just
but a lot of people are trying to say that he's the Canelo's a duck. Canelo's not a duck. He'll fight who he wants when he wants. At the end of the day, now if he never offered them a fight, then I'd say, yeah, maybe he's scared of David. But he offered him the fight. He was going to do it May 4th. They would have said yes. That'll be the fight. What do they want Canelo to do?
What are you going to do? You're right. Okay.
I hate defending the guy because I'm a big Triple G fan. I can't stand Canelo, but he gets a lot of unfair criticism and a lot of unfair blame. Everybody's pointing the finger at him because he's the A side, right?
Well, Triple G, president of the Olympic Committee for Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I guess he's not fighting again. He hasn't fought in a year and a half. He's 41. I mean, he's got nothing to prove. Why would he?
I think him coming back now would have to be something very, very special.
He could go in there and say, "Hey, David, let's fight," and make a ton of money and probably lose because he's older. He could fight and do something like that, but what's the point? He's got so much money.
No. Well, I think David moving up is kind of indicating what direction he's kind of going in. Maybe this Canelo fight will happen one day, but until then, I think this is the best route for David anyways.
Going up 75, yeah.
Right, going up to 175 and then becoming ultimately the #1 contender for whoever.
But these guys, I know he's a big guy and he'll make the weight there easier, but at the end of the day, these guys still hit harder at that weight. So it's definitely not going to be a walk in the park.
Well, at least he's taking the warm-up fight, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anything happened on this day?
Yes. This week in boxing history, Cassius Clay, before he changed the name to Muhammad Ali, finished off Sonny Liston, who I told everybody many times in the show that you need to listen to either on Audible's autobiography or read his autobiography. That man selling heroin, doing doing collections for the mob in Vegas while fighting, not training, gambling all night, many mistresses, unbelievable life. He was like, I guess you can say, a gangster in a way back in the 50s and 60s, working for those boys. But anyways, this week in boxing history, Cassius Clay finished off Sonny Liston. It was an upset. He was an 8-1 underdog, Muhammad Ali. He finished off Cassius Clay, he finished off Sonny Liston in the 6th round. Sonny wouldn't get out of the chair. That's it. He called off. He quit, I guess, and that was it. Cassius Clay would turn into Muhammad Ali, and the star was born. 8-1 underdog. Yeah. Some people say we don't know, right? Because you got to people forget 50s and 60s boxing is a lot different. The mob ran this show. Why did the mob get involved in boxing? Very simple. Boxing is the easiest sport to fix back in those days. So some people were saying that Sonny didn't come off the chair because a lot of the mobster guys were betting 8-1. And you can sit down, boy. You owe us. These mobsters didn't play around in Vegas in the day. So who knows? Maybe he was just hurt and couldn't get up. I don't know. A lot of fishy stuff with Ali and Liston when they were fighting. You know, Liston was threatened by the black Muslims who he was hanging out with. You take a dive or you're going to finish you. You don't see that nowadays, but back in those days, it's easier to fix.
As great as Muhammad Ali was and the legacy that he left, which was bigger than boxing,
he did a lot of shady stuff, man.
Dude, we've talked about this. We talked about this a little bit on the wrestling show earlier this week, and we mentioned it here a bit. I mean, technology plays a huge role in all of it, right? Like, for example,
aren't fixed anymore because somebody would leak it out now through a text or something. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, for example, growing up as a kid, I was a huge De La Hoya fan. It wasn't until I saw that documentary that I saw all the stuff that he was doing outside of the ring, because we never had that contact. We never had, the
you didn't know
all those things, right? All right, man. Anything in Canadian boxing history this week?
Yeah, nothing really happening in boxing history this week. But I just want to point out a fighter that somebody should go YouTube and check it out. He's not that well known in the Canadian circles, but his name is Logan McGuinness.
Yeah.
He's a super featherweight. He's had 28 fights. He's 36. People go YouTube his fights, watch him out. He's pretty exciting. They say, and I think so, he's one of the top 10 most exciting Canadian boxers to watch. Logan McGuinness. Check him out, super featherweight. He's got some exciting fights. It's just a way to learn a little bit about some of the Canadian boxers that don't get a lot of recognition. We got a few, David Lemieux and Gotti, and if you want to count Lennox Lewis, Christian Mabili, Cody Crowley.
Yeah,
Crowley and Mabili are two big stars right now. So they're undefeated, and hopefully they fight soon because
I hope so.
Cody deserves his fight.
I see Cody's back in the gym. He's training. He's posting training videos, so that's good sign. Let's see where they go with that. But I wanted to touch on one thing here. Like I was thinking about this earlier, and the whole PBC thing and Al Heyman, and going over to Amazon.
Oh, thanks for bringing up. The first non-pay-per-view fight on Amazon for PBC is in June.
Yeah,
they haven't announced who it is, but that's what they're saying.
Right. But their first card. No, it's at the end of March, isn't it?
No, that's a pay-per-view one. I'm saying the free one is in June, non-pay-per-view.
So thinking about
March 30th is their fight. That's Thurman and Tim Tszyu.
Right, Tim Tszyu, and then you have
Rolly
and Pitbull.
Good card.
This is gonna be an interesting card. So I was thinking about this, and I thought about money in sports and whatnot. Like, I mean, if you think about it, how much money is in boxing compared to other things? Like
a ton of money, because that's why the Saudi Arabians are people, the princes are always running boxing. He just pays them an astronomical amount of money.
No. I get that, but I'm looking more from a North American perspective. Like, okay, we talk about WWE signing a $5 billion deal with Netflix, right? Now, when you look at pro wrestling and you look at boxing, more people know pro wrestling than they do boxing. It almost feels it almost feels like boxing's really big in pockets of Europe. Boxing's really big in pockets of North America, but doesn't have that global overall reach that pro wrestling does. And then when you look at the streaming services outside of the zone, I almost feel that PBC made a mistake of signing with Amazon. But you think about it, Showtime, HBO probably got out of the game because it was costing them too much.
Well, and they keep offering the fighters more and more and more, and then that's the network's like, that's too much. We don't want to pay Canelo $25 million and Triple D $17 million. The thing is, boxing is only really big with a few guys. Like if Mayweather and Pacquiao still have the number one pay-per-view of all time. So in that way, it can beat wrestling. That's only few and far between. Overall, as a whole, yeah, wrestling is way bigger because it's entertainment, it's goofiness, right?
This is probably the main catalyst why they couldn't get the Canelo fight done, is because they didn't have the money, because Amazon's not putting up that kind of money,
Here's
right?
another thing though. Who knows if you pay Canelo 25 million and you pay David $30 million, are you gonna even get that back?
Well, you can't. And then the
Unless
thing,
you have a crazy pay-per-view
but
number and you do a big stadium, right?
here's the funny thing: his last fight, he got 60 million. Canelo did,
Canelo?
yeah.
Yeah,
So even 25 is a pay cut and a half.
I know. He
Yeah.
makes a lot of money, but eventually he's gonna have to be cut off. Or you know what Canelo would have done, I think, if Eddie Eddie Mills didn't want him, he just went to Saudi Arabia and fought over there and made a ton of money there.
And you know what?
He knew that.
You might just see that, right? I mean, all the money's there right now, right? I mean, that's why you're getting these cards done so fast. That's why Day of Reckoning happened so quickly. One card falls through, they make up another card within a couple of hours because they don't care about the resources. It's unlimited, right? I mean, we talk about billionaires and we talk about all the people that are rich in America and around the world. But the fact of the matter is, you don't even know how much the Saudis are worth. They're beyond billionaire trillionaires.
They're spending money hand over fist. And hey man, he's making the fight fair and used. Like he made it happen.
Right. The one thing I want to do is hang out with one of these princes and look at his watch and go, "Hey, you have a really nice watch. Chances are he's going to take it off and give it to me."
It wouldn't hurt him at all.
But he won't even think twice about it. That's their
No.
nature. That's just how they do. I mean, it's a bit of an extreme. I don't think it's like that, but I've heard
I know what
stories.
you're saying though. Yeah.
When
It
they're
just sucks
driving.
that for the North American guys, you can't watch for you sick life. You got to go over to Saudi Arabia. That's a far flight.
You go to Saudi Arabia, they got these graveyards for supercars. Why? Because it ran out of the gas. Guy just left it there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy how that place works, eh?
Right. It's amazing. But you know what though? It's probably one of the safest places in the world as well that people don't.
Well, because if you do crime, you're going to jail. You don't want to go to jail there. They don't play around.
I believe you could leave your cell phone on the hood of your car, go away for 3 hours and come back and you'll still be there.
Yeah.
That's the kind of culture it is, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going there one day, actually.
No, we got to go and check it out, man. But I think there's a lot that we can learn. I mean, I don't mean to bring politics into it, but I've been watching a bit of Tucker Carlson, and he's going around to different places in the world and showing what life is
Did
like.
you see how clean the Russian subway was compared to ours?
Just that.
Beautiful pictures.
Just going grocery shopping in Russia, you look at the subway stations and then you look at what we have over here, and we're the advanced society.
We got guys with graffiti and pissing on the tracks. So some homeless guy might push you on the tracks if you ain't careful.
We're the evolved society, yet we live in more filth than other parts of the world.
And more dangerous.
Right?
You wouldn't want your mom on the SkyTrain at 1 a.m. in downtown Van? Probably not.
No.
In places like Russia and Saudi Arabia, you wouldn't think twice.
No, exactly. And these are the people that we're not supposed to like. Go figure.
Isn't it crazy?
I will leave it at that, brother man. I will leave it at that. All right, brother man, let's wrap up this puppy. We got, like I said, guys, Jake Paul, Amanda Serrano this weekend. We have Lopez
and Abe.
and Serenia Abe coming up this weekend as well. So there is a lot. There's a UFC card as well. You got Collision, you got all this stuff coming wrestling wise as well. So guys, there's a lot to do this weekend. So if the weather is saying what it's saying, it's going to be cold and miserable outside, then perfect opportunity to stay inside and watch. On that
and one more thing, and to this day, Canelo is still the most talked about boxer. Whatever he does, gonna fight this guy. He's talked about more than anybody in boxing. Love him or hate him, he's the center of attention, man. So good for him.
Nothing against the man. Honestly, I just feel like he's being contradictory in terms of, I said, you weren't gonna fight these guys, so you left. Yet here you are, now you're going to face these guys.
I gained a lot more respect for Canelo is I know he waited a little bit too long. I wish the fight would have happened about a year or two sooner, but he did finish the trilogy. He gave Triple G that shot. I know Triple G was almost 40 at the time, but at least he did finish it. He didn't run, he didn't hide, he made it happen. So I'll give him that.
No, 100% job done. All right, brother man. On that note, I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Mr. Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you, and I leave you with this, everybody. It is the weekend, so drink, have fun, do what you got to do to enjoy yourself. Just remember, make the safe way home, not just for yourself, but for the other people out there and for your family. Most importantly, we want you guys to come back on Tuesday and listen to the show. Also, I leave you with this, guys. forget the critics, forget everyone, believe in yourself, believe in your abilities. Anyone talks down to you, anyone doesn't believe in you, you don't need them in your life. It's sometimes the harder decisions to make, but remember this, these are the people holding you back. Do not let anyone hold you back from what you believe in. On
Well
that note,
said, man. I can't argue that.
thank you, brother. On that note, have a great weekend. Samp and Chance are